bersama kita bisa. JBS, tempat tingkatkan prestasi festival untuk berkreasi bersama, meraih cita-cita kita generasi gemilang. JBS, bersama raih mimpi dan wujudkan senyum sehat Indonesia. Masa depan dunia ada di genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. Keluarkan kreativitas dari benakmu. Janganlah diam saja, terus berkarya. Sekarang jadilah juara, bersama kita bisa. JBS, tempat tingkatkan prestasi festival untuk berkreasi bersama, meraih cita-cita kita generasi gemilang. JBS, bersama raih mimpi dan wujudkan senyum sehat Indonesia. Masa depan dunia ada di genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. Jemari tanganmu, lekas keluarkan kreativitas dari benakmu. Janganlah diam saja, terus berkarya. Sekarang jadilah juara, bersama kita bisa. JBS, tempat tingkatkan prestasi festival untuk berkreasi bersama, meraih cita-cita kita generasi gemilang. JBS, bersama raih mimpi dan wujudkan senyum sehat Indonesia. Masa depan dunia ada di genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu. kreativitas dari benakmu. Janganlah diam saja, teruslah berkarya. Sekarang jadilah juara, bersama kita bisa. JBS, tempat tingkatan prestasi festival, untuk berkreasi bersama, meraih cita-cita kita generasi gemilang. JBS, bersama raih mimpi dan wujudkan senyum sehat Indonesia. Masa depan dunia ada di genggaman tanganmu. Genggaman tanganmu.
Participant must change username becomes peserta underscore full name. Second, participant should turn on camera while international symposium is running. Third, during this event, participant must turn off the microphone to keep the event conducive. Last, when participant want to asking in question and answer session, the participant can type the question in room chat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Good morning, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, Dr. Gigi Raden Rahardian Parnaji, Magister Kesehatan Spesialis Prostodensia. First Vice Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, Dr. Gigi Masniari Novita, Magister Kesehatan Spesialis Odontologi Forensik, Konsultan. Second Vice Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, Dr. Gigi Rendra Kristedi Prasetya, Master of Dental Science. Third Vice Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, Dr. Gigi Dwi Kartika Apriyono, Magister Kesehatan, Spesialis Odontologi Forensik, and all of the audience. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to International Symposium, First Jember Dentistry Festival, in conjunction with 10 Jember Dentistry Scientific Festival 2021, sponsored by Sugiarto Dental and Enkasari by Kimia Pharma. It's a great honor for me to stand in front of you. My name is Imanda Sania Putri Alhamdi, as Master of Ceremony in this event. I'd like to welcome all the participants that joined in International Symposium, Super Dental Science Unity University Festival, First Jember Dentistry Festival in conjunction with 10 Jember Dentistry Scientific Festival 2021. First of all, let us thank to God who has given us grace and blessings so we can gather in the symposium without any obstacle. In the symposium, we have invited expert speakers from Malaysia and Indonesia. The symposium will cover a range of topics in science, technology, management, and health service that relate current health issues in dentistry, especially in new normal era. The next agenda is singing National Anthem Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, continue Jember University Hymn, continue Dental Agromedicine Mars, and to all of the audience, please put your hand over the heart.
Jember dengan agromedis visinya. Mari kita tingkatkan layanan kita hingga sejahtera rakyatnya. Ayo bangkit Indonesia, FKG untuk bangsa. Mari bangun kesehatan gigi mulut masyarakat agroindustri. Pegunungan di timur juga pesisirnya kreatif, produktif, inovatif. Kami FKG Universitas Jember dengan agromedis visinya. Mari kita tingkatkan layanan kita hingga sejahtera rakyatnya. Ayo bangkit Indonesia, FKG untuk bangsa.
Thank you. Before we start today's event, we are going to pray together that will be led by Muhammad As'ad. To Muhammad As'ad, time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, let me to lead prayer at this event and Islamic way and use Indonesian language. Please non-Muslim to care. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this event beneficial for all of us and this event can run smoothly and conducively. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan, ya Maha Pengampun, ya Maha Rahman, ya Rahim. Engkaulah Tuhan pemilik segala apa yang ada di langit dan bumi, yang Maha Kuasa atas segala sesuatu. Jiwa dan raga ini hadir menyerahkan kepasrahan diri atas kehendak dan ridho-Mu. Mohon ridhoilah acara seminar internasional yang kami laksanakan ini. Kami mengharapkan rahmat dan ridho-Mu. Kegiatan ini berjalan dengan lancar dan manfaat bagi kami yang hadir dan dapat memberikan sumbangsi terbaik bagi bangsa dan negara. Karenanya ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Agung, lancarkanlah acara kami ini. Berkailah, penuhilah pertemuan ini dengan kebaikan dan ilmu yang bermanfaat bagi kami yang hadir. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan yang Maha Pemurah. Bukakanlah pikiran kami, sucikanlah hati dan jiwa kami, agar mudah menerima dan melaksanakan sesuatu yang baik yang akan dihasilkan dari kegiatan ini. Berikanlah kepada kami buah pikir dan ide cemerlang untuk membangun bangsa dan kampus kami UNEJ. Berikanlah kami kekuatan dan kesungguhan untuk selalu berbuat baik, berkarya, dan berprestasi. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan yang Maha Pengasih. Maha suci Engkau atas segala ketetapan dan takdir yang kami rasakan dalam hidup ini. Berikanlah kami hidayah-Mu untuk selalu dekat dengan-Mu dalam ibadah. Jadikanlah kami umat yang mampu bersabar atas segala ketetapan-Mu dan mudahkanlah langkah kami untuk selalu menuntut ilmu dan berbuat baik bagi sesama. Ya Allah ya Razak, karuniakanlah kami rezeki yang halal penuh keberkahan-Mu. Berikanlah kami kesehatan dan keberkahan usia serta akhirkanlah hidup kami kelak dalam husnul khatimah. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan yang Maha Pengampun, ampunilah segala dosa-dosa kami, dosa ibu bapak kami, dosa para dosen dan para pemimpin kami. Pertemukanlah kami kelak dalam surga-Mu yang penuh dengan kemuliaan. Ya Allah, Allahumma ya Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين ثم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you. Now is welcoming speech from Dr. Gigi Raden Rahardian Parnaji, Magister Kesehatan Spesialis Prostodontia, as the Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember. To Dr. Gigi Raden Rahardian Parnaji, Magister Kesehatan Spesialis Prostodontia. Time is yours.
Send me the digital backup.
Can I WhatsApp to you also?
To Dr. Gigi Raden Rahardian.
Thank you very much, Master Ceremony, Manda Sania. I respected by of the day because Dr. Adian cannot speak in this symposium. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wa binasta'in ala murid dunya waddin. Shalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'du. The Honorable Director University of Jember, Mr. Dr. Iwan Taruna, the Honorable the Dean of Dentistry Faculty, University of Jember, Mr. R. Hardian Parnaji, MKes SP Pros, the Honorable the speakers in the International Symposium, Dr. Hau Kim Chuan from Malaysia. Welcome to our symposium, sir. Mr. Dr. Kiki Andi Wirahadikusuma, SP Pros. Welcome to our symposium, Doc. And Mr. Professor Dr. Kiki Maisa Priyadi, MDSC, PhD, Spesialis Pathologi Mulut and Maxillofacial Consultant. Good morning, Prof. And the Honorable, the all moderators, Dr. Kiki Alida, Dr. Kiki Agustin, and Dr. Kiki Afif Surya Adena. The Honorable all participants of this symposium, thank you for your coming today. All praise is to the Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Lord of the world, the Master and the Creator of everything in the universe, for enabling us to meet together in this international symposium. Peace and salutation be upon the noble Prophet of Islam, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and his household, his companion, and his faithful followers until the end of the time. Especially, I would like to say thank you for very much for the entire committee of this event who had hard work to prepare the symposium very well. Ladies and gentlemen, Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, which has a vision that is to become an educational institution that is superior, dignified, and internationally competitive in the development of science, technology, and the art of dentistry in the agro-medical field, always committed to implementing the three dharma of education, which is in this case is in the field of student affairs. One of this commitment is the holding of the first Dentistry Festival in 2021. The first Dentistry Festival is follow-up activity from the 10th Jember Dentistry Scientific Festival, which is routinely held by the Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember. This first Dentistry Festival in 2021 as a theme of Super Dental Science Unity in Diversity Festival, which consists of symposium and hands-on. In this symposium, we will get a lot of important information from the speakers. Therefore, I hope all participants focus on listening and paying attention to every material presented by the speaker. By this, I will represent the entire committee of that this symposium beneficial to all. Ladies and gentlemen, for information, we are Faculty, Dentistry Faculty of University of Jember. In the next few days, we'll carry out an online field accreditation assessment by LAMPTKes. So we ask for your prayer in order that this process can be done smoothly and successfully and gets result with unggul criteria. Ladies and gentlemen, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I open this symposium and I hope this symposium can be useful for all of us. So my opening remarks, I cover with Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the welcoming speech to Dr. Gigi Dwi Kartika Apriyono, Magister Kesehatan, Spesialis Odontologi Forensik. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main agenda. The first session on the symposium. Lectures will be delivered by our expert speakers, Dr. Hao Kim Chuan, with the title Total Digital Implant Dentistry Solution from Conception to Completion. That will be moderated by Dr. Gigi Elida Ahia Afida Misrohmasari, Master of International Public Health. The lecture divided into lecture and question and answer session. To all participants who want to ask in the lecture that delivered by Dr. Hao Kim Chuan, can type the question in room chat, and the question will be read by moderator. For the lucky participant, will get special merchandise from our sponsor. Let me read curriculum vitae from Dr. Gigi Elida Ahia Afida Misrohmasari, Master of International Public Health. Curriculum vitae from Dr. Gigi Elida Ahia Afida Misrohmasari, Master of International Public Health. This is History of School from Dr. Gigi Elida, 2014 until 2015, Master of International Public Health, University of Queensland, Australia. 2009 until 2011, Dentist in University of Jember, Indonesia. 2004 until 2009, Bachelor of Dentistry in University of Jember. This is work experience of Dr. Gigi Elida. 2016 until now, lecture Dental Public Health, Department Faculty of Dentistry, University of Jember, Indonesia. 2015 until 2017, General Dentist in Dental Clinic Kimia Pharma, Jember, Indonesia. Next. Awards that have been achieved by Dr. Gigi Elida. 2014, Australia Award Scholarship for Master Degree. 2008, Indonesia English Language Study Program in University of Arizona, USA. Next. This is research experience of Dr. Gigi Elida. This is another research experience from Dr. Gigi Elida. This is publication from Dr. Gigi Elida. Next. Next. Thank you. It's all about curriculum vitae from Dr. Gigi Elida Ahya Afida Misrohmasari, Master of International Public Health. To Dr. Gigi Elida Ahya Afida Misrohmasari, Master of International Public Health. Time is yours.
Thank you, Imanda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yang kami hormati Wakil Dekan 1 Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi Universitas Jember, Dr. Gigi Masniari Novita, MSc Otodontologi Forensik. Yang kami hormati Wakil Dekan 3 Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi Universitas Jember, Dr. Gigi Dwi Kartika Apriyono, Master Kesehatan Spesialis Odontologi Forensik. Warm regards to our keynote speakers. Yang kami hormati para pejabat Dr. Gigi yang hadir pada simposium hari ini dan adik-adik mahasiswa yang kami banggakan. Welcome to the first Jember Dentistry Festival in conjunction with 10th Jember Dentistry Scientific Festival, Super Dental Science, Unity University Festival. In this session, we are going to discuss a topic of total digital implant, solution from conception to completion. It is an interesting topic because nowadays we live in the digital era and many patients have higher expectation for repairing multiple problems in their mouth at one time. In this symposium, we are very happy to have an incredible speaker, Dr. Hao Kim Chuan, to discuss this topic with us. Before we begin, let us present his curriculum vitae. Please, operator. Dr. Hao Kim Chuan is qualified and possesses a number of postgraduate qualifications in oral surgery, implantology, laser, and aesthetic dentistry and prosthodontics. He is also graduated from National University of Singapore in 1991. He went on to specialize in orthodontics in Eastman University of London in 1993. He possesses many awards. Dr. Hao was conferred by the King of Malaysia with the prestigious award of DIMP, which carries the honorary title of Dato in 2010. Dr. Hao also received honorary fellowship from Royal College of Surgeons and Physicians of Glasgow. And then he is adjunct professor in University of Tunku Abdul Rahmat, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. He is examiner for the Royal Surgeon of Edinburgh, United Kingdom. He is visiting professor in Shenzhen Chinese Medical University. He is also visiting assistant professor of Hong Kong University, visiting associate professor for the 4th Military Medical and Stomatological University in Xi'an, China. He participated actively in West Coast practicum of the AIP. Dr. Hao involved in many organizations, Surgeon and Physician Glasgow, and also fellowship on a number of international acclaimed colleges, including International College on Dentistry, Diploma for International Congress of Oral Implantology. He's also president of Section 15 for International College of Dentists, founding president of Osseointegration Society of Malaysia, and a member of American Institute of Parliamentary. These are the curriculum vitae of our speaker. Please need that still many more, and we are so happy that we have Dr. Hao Kim Chuan in this symposium. Is Dr. How already in this room? Dr. How? Hello, Dr. How.
Halo, selamat pagi.
Ya, selamat pagi. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you very much for inviting me for this very prestigious conference. I'm also very honored to hear the speech from the Minister of Health. All right, and very thank you for your kind introduction. All right, so yes, so today I'm going to share with all you about the total digital solution in implantology. I have actually included my specialty. My first specialty is actually in orthodontics. Then, so there's a digital solution for orthodontics Invisalign. Then also my second specialty is actually oral surgery. I also included that, and also implantology. And the last but not least is the prosthodontic. So I included all these four specialties with the help of the laser technology. I'm going to present a case to all of you.
Okay,
Now, I like to,
very many experience, and we are very happy. We are very honored to have you here in this symposium. Thank you, Dr. How.
Thank you. So I have done the pre-recording. I'm not sure whether I can play the pre-recording or I should present it live here. Can you advise me on that?
I think the committee already prepared for showing the pre-recording.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, okay. So it's okay. Yeah.
So we, ladies and gentlemen, we will have 45 minutes to listen, to listen and watch the pre-recording presentation of Dr. How, and then we will have later on for 15-minute discussion. So please, the operator, you can we may begin the presentation. Thank you.
Selamat pagi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Casey How. I'd like to thank the organizer from University of Jember and congratulate you for having this wonderful conference this morning. So today, I'd like to share with you about my presentation on the total digital implant solution, all right, from the conceptions to the completion using the MegaGen R2 gate system. All right. So first of all, I'd like to talk to you about the chronology of the implant digital dentistry. It is actually it's all started in 1985 when we actually developed what we call a scan body and then also the CAD/CAM system to then make a customized abutment system, all right, and to fit into an implant, all right. So without a gap, then the age of CAD/CAM system come with the industrial grade of big machine of the CAD/CAM design as well as the manufacturing system. And this has served us for the good 20 years. But then the problem is that this is very costly and very time consuming. And not many people can actually afford or willing to go through this one. And plus, most important is a lot of error. So what has happened in the age of convergence in the last 10 years is that we have managed to integrate the CBCT, the X-ray, the JPEG photo, as well as the digital guide, all into a single solution platform. And then nowadays, what's more exciting is the advance of the artificial intelligence, which actually make it even more user-friendly. So now, a question for all of you is that which era you belong to? Okay, and how much have you adopted to these technological changes in your daily practice? And are you ready for the next phase of changes with the AI? And so if you are, what action do you have to take now? So we always are faced with two choices. One is that we want to embrace the new world and the new technology. The other one is that we're so comfortable with our current comfort zone that it works so well in your hand that there's no need for a change. So just a summary again, we have 4 ages One is that the age of transition from analog to digital, which is 1980 to 2000. The other one is the age of the digital technology from 2000 to 2010. And then the third is the convergence of digital solution, which all happened in the past 10 years from 2010 to 2020. And from now on, what is exciting, confronting us is artificial intelligence. All right. So this artificial intelligence, we call it AI. What's so special about AI is that it's actually changing our life in a very shocking way. So I just want to share with you this technology with one of my good friends, Philippe Salah from France, that he has developed this AI technology. And what he does is that he took 4,000 pictures of his son, newborn baby, up to when he was 4 years old. Then what he does is that, right, he feed in all this data into the computer, into the AI, and the AI will study the changes on his face and come up with the algorithm of a formula like this. And with this AI, it will then, from this 4,000, after the deep neural machine learning, it come up with the output layer here. And with this output layer, now we're going to test how good is this AI in the face recognition. So we tested with this baby, and the AI say most likely 92% it is due to his son, Alex. Okay, 95% if he's wearing a headphone covering the ear. And what about if you let him drink a big milk bottle? It still says 99%. What if you put his brother, younger brother, okay, with the same parents together, then AI say 91% with Alex, and with his brother Adrian is 70%, even though you cover the eye of Alex. And what happened is that if you wear a big hat and he fall asleep without opening his eye, the AI still say 99%. And what happened if you put two faces together with the adult to confuse the computer and also look at it at the side, the AI still say 99%. And what happened is that if we change his hairstyle, okay, AI still recognize that it is him. All right. So this actually tells us that how accurate is the AI face recognition technology. Then we now know that in future, we no longer need credit card. We no longer need thumbprint, and we can just scan our face and we can use it to make payment, and even for the immigration purpose. So now, question, how do we apply AI into our day-to-day practice? So we now know that we have a big headache. Is that, first of all, when you use an intraoral scanning, we're using an STL file. If we're using a CBCT, we are using a diphone file. If we merge these two together, then we have a hybrid, which is very confusing. Then with this hybrid, how are we then able to change this hybrid into the STL file again and using this one for the computer manufacturing? So this is one headache, but AI has solved the problem. What about second headache? Is that if we have a PA, okay, film here, and with the OPG, then we have CBCT. Is the AI able to merge these three together and produce a micro CBCT? So what does micro CBCT mean? Is that, for example, if you have a bone here, okay, so now with this magnification, we are okay. But if supposing we're going to place an implant, then we magnify this one by 200 times or even 1,000 times. Now we're no longer able to differentiate the incisor edge with the bone anymore. All right, because the accuracy, okay, or the error is more than 100 micrometer. All right, but what if we were to use a micro CT? All right, we are able not only to be able to detect it up to 5 micron of accuracy, we can even detect the micro crack of the teeth we can even detect how many roots are there and whether our root field is complete or not. So now coming back to implant, when we take a CBCT, we all know that only give us a DICOM file. But if we now take a facial scan, it will give us a JPEG file. And we take an impression, it will give us a STL file. Now, is it possible that we have an X-ray that it has a all-in-one or three-in-one that is able to use the AI chip here to integrate between DICOM, JPEG, and STL and integrate into one single hybrid output of the
I'm sorry. Because of the problem of the video, is it okay, Dr. Hef, if you present the topic live? Because
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's distracting. The box of the right side.
I'm sorry.
Many information will lack many information because of the blocking box. Is it
Sure.
okay?
Yes, I will do that. I will do that. Yeah.
I think we still have enough time because we have 45-minute presentation and the video is still it's just running 8 minutes. So I think we still have 40 minutes. I think it's okay. Is it okay?
Yes, yes, my pleasure.
Please,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hall.
Thank you. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, so sorry about just now. I wasn't aware of such a problem during the recording. And I want to thank the organizer for responding to this problem very quickly. That shows how efficient my counterpart in Indonesia are. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was talking about just now the difficulty in the digital technology in implant is that, right? We have, when we in the beginning of the development, there are many platforms. For example, we have STL file, we have DICOM file, then we have many other formats, but the majority is STL and DICOM. So for the STL file, right, we are actually using it for the intraoral scanner. It's a standard tessellation file technique. And then we also have DICOM file, which is mainly for the CBCT. Now, the difficulty in most of us is that how do you coordinate them in a correct XYZ relationship? And then finally, before the manufacturing, actually the most accurate is still using the STL. So therefore, during the manufacturing, the time, which is the using the CAD/CAM machine, we still need to convert them back to the STL. All right. So all these things can only be possible with the AI. So now the AI is even smarter to go in the way that supposing now we have a 2D periapical X-ray, all right. So and then plus the panorama, then we also have a CBCT. Would the AI able to use what we call a micro CBCT technology to merge all these things together and give us an even higher margin of accuracy? So this has always been a problem, that when we take a CBCT or take any X-ray, we have the scattering of the light effect. And because of that, it actually gives us about 100 microns of inaccuracy. Now, for all intents or purpose, 100 microns is considered very little. But if we wanted to do a flapless surgery and we wanted to develop a surgical guide, that 100 micron of error is quite significant. For example, in such a tight bone situation, if I have a 100 micron of error, my implant could have just actually fenestrated through the thin wall here. So therefore, we are now going to magnify all these things. Let's say, for example, I keep magnified by another 100 times until such time that I find that I can't even differentiate my incisor edge, and let alone with the thin labial wall. So now we are using the micro CT technology. So what is micro CT technology? Not only that it saves us a lot in the radiation amount, it also helps us to look at things in a very high resolution in a very small area, right? Yeah, so for example, in a root canal, right, where we wanted to see the anatomy of the root, we can use a micro CT technology, and we can even see the crack, the tracings of the root here, and where the blockage is. All right. So therefore, this could be the answer to all of us. All right. In order to help us to define and reduce the margin error to less than 5 micrometer. So indeed, we have developed a system called digital eye system, which is able to help us with less than 5 micrometer of precision. Now, there's another new technology, which is also very exciting to all of us. It's called the R2 Studio CBCT system. It is also called the all-in-one system. So what it does is that first, you actually have a full scale 20 by 20 of the FOV of the DICOM CBCT. Then we also have the 3D facial scan of 1280 times 720 pixel of the JPEG, but now it's 3D, is in OBJ format. Then we also have the intraoral scanning using the handheld. It will become in the STL process, STL file format. So the AI is able to help us in one single taking to have the DICOM, OBJ, and the STL format all within the same taking. So let's show you an example of how this looks like. Okay, so now if you look at here with the R2 Studio here, so what you notice is that the CBCT, STL, OBJ format, all 3 in 1, merged into one file, and you can actually interchange them to see whether 2D, 3D, or STL, or the facial format. We are now also developing a diagnostic system to do the tracing for that. So with that, we now can actually plan for the patient by taking a 3 in 1. All right, then we have the photos and the orientation. We can start planning for the implant surgery. Now, we have the, first of all, you get the patient in the correct head position and can do the facial pattern analysis. Then you can decide what are the ideal teeth position and occlusion you want to be. And then with the digital face bow, digital mounting, and digital occlusion, you can then actually export finally with a STL file for the CAD/CAM manufacturing of our surgical guide. All right. So with this surgical guide, we now know that, with this surgical guide, right, we now know that we are able to actually deliver a product. And with this product here, that you are able to show that the even before we started the surgery, we are able. Are you able to hear me? Because I seem to have an internet lagging here.
It's good.
It's
No
good.
problem.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so we are able to deliver the denture and the surgical guide, as well as the final prosthesis, all within one single visit, even before we start the surgery. Now, this R2 gate system, we all will be thinking that it's very expensive. No, it will give you the highest value, but in terms of the price, it's actually at the mid-range here. So it gives the highest value, but with the price of a mid-range system. So it's very affordable. Now, we now look back into the past, or the CAD/CAM technology, we have so many huge, gigantic machines here to manufacture it. And if we were to visit, what's the first generation of a CAD/CAM system? Our workflow is like this. In a clinic, we take a PVS impression, then we send to the laboratory, they cast into a stone and make into a die. After that, the technician has to do a wax up, then has to do a casting, and then finishing, and then build up with the porcelain. Now, what will happen is that, right? What will happen is that the conventional workflow is a slide moving, excuse me, it's a slide moving. Are we still there? Let's say I stop share. Excuse me, can you tell me, because I seems to experience some problem. Can you tell me what you see in the screen?
This one is good. There is no blocking.
There's no blocking idea.
For this one, yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So now there's no blocking here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that I could give you all this problem. Then for the benefit of everybody, I will apologize to the organizing committee. And I just wanted to say something very important concept here. If you allow me to just repeat this part. Can you now see the screen which
Yes.
shows the STL, CBCT, and everything?
Yes.
So the screen, right?
Oh.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is that, right, when we have an intraoral scanner, we are using the STL format. When we have the CBCT, we're using a DICOM format. So now, only AI can help us to integrate these two together into a special hybrid format. And with this hybrid format, if we want to manufacture it, we then export it into a STL again to the CAD/CAM system, and therefore the manufacturing process, the milling machine will then be able to mill it up. Okay, so now, then the next problem is that, right, we are talking about micro CT. What does micro CT means is that, right, we're able to zoom in into a very narrow area. For example, that what we see right now is that, right, is a central incisor. Now, if we keep magnifying this one bigger and bigger, we begin to see that the margin of error is bigger because of the light scattering effect. So therefore, the margin of error can be as high as 100 micrometer. And then we are beginning to lose the precision here. So if we were to place an implant in a very thin bone situation, 100 microns of error become very serious. So therefore, they developed a technology called micro CT technology. Micro CT technology would enable us to actually define, even like in the case of root canal, to see the crack line within the small root area here. So when we wanted to put the implant in such a narrow area with a micro CT, we are then able to place it precisely with the error margin of only 5 micrometer. And we think that this will be an answer. Of course, in future, the precision will be even higher. Now, the next thing is that we want to share with you an exciting development, which is the R2 Studio technology, which is doing in all-in-one. First is that we can take the full scale view of 20 by 20 FOV of the DICOM file. Then we have a 3D facial scan of an OBJ format with a high precision of the pixel. And then we have the STL format also of the intraoral scanning. So all the three actually merged together into a 3-in-1 situation that now we begin to see that if in the situation where we actually take a CBCT with the STL file and with the OBJ format. We can now take all these three together into a single image here. And you can actually switch them from one format to another just at your own view. And this is the wonder of the AI technology. So now if we are using this one to plan for a patient, then we have the STL. We can use the facial pattern analysis, using our capnometric analysis, and then we can actually decide the position. Then we have a digital face bowl mounting occlusion, and finally we manufacture a surgical guide. And with this surgical guide, we then send to the R2 center. With the R2 center, what they can do right now is that they can actually manufacture this one for us. And then with this one right now, they can come up with the technology with a final denture. And with this final denture, then they can actually manufacture the product to us. All right. So now this is actually a very wonderful technological advancement here to all of us. It's because you will receive the final product here, with a very high value, and then but paying with a nominal price, with a mid-range here. Now with the CAD/CAM manufacturing technology, we now visit in the past. What do we have to do if it's in the past? Is that in a clinic, we have to take an impression, and then we then have to cast into a stone and the die making. Then we wax up, we do casting, we finish, and we build up the porcelain. Finally, we will then come up with a metal fused ceramic from a casting. And this conventional workflow from the beginning to the end will take us at least 1 week to finish. And the most frustrating thing is that, right, it has distortion of expansion and shrinkage in almost every single step here. We have a expansion and shrinkage problem. So therefore, usually the final prosthesis, the margin of error is much bigger. Now, what will be the dream of digital dentistry from all of us? Since the time of Dirac and his colleagues, right, which pioneered the CAD/CAM system. But during those times, we only have 3 axes of the milling machine. That's in 1970. And we now know that with 3 axes of the milling machine, the margin of error during the manufacturing is also very high. So if we now look into the second generation of the CAD/CAM system, which is actually in the 1980s, we still have to take the impression. We still have to go through the stone die process, right? But then the only thing is that, right, we actually save the time in our manufacturing, which because we're using a 4-axis one. But the thing is that it's still present with a lot of difficulty, and we are still not able to use it at the very large scale basis. Now with the third generation, we now develop the optical scanner technology. And our milling machine is now 4-axis to 5-axis already. With a 5-axis milling technology, we can now do model scanning. We can do the CAD/CAM design and milling together in the laboratory instead of sending overseas. Now we can do in the local lab for that. And we can also do the monolithic crown, which is a zirconium technology rather than porcelain built to metal crown. So with this zirconia PMMA technology, it will make it more exciting, and actually the user base become broader. So what about the 4th generation? The 4th generation, what does the CAD/CAM technology do? Which is actually the current right now, is developed from 2010 to 2020. So what it does is that for the first time, we don't have to take any more PBS impression. we can take the handheld intraoral scanner. And with the intraoral scanner, it is done in the clinic. You can then do in an in-office setting here. So in office, you can buy an in-house milling machine, which is a 5-axis to 6-axis of in-house milling machine. And we can do finishing everything using up to 3 units of zirconium crown, all within the clinic setup. If we have a complicated cases, we can then send to a laboratory here. They can still do the 3D design. Now they have a 6-axis and above milling machine here, which will help us to mill out a multi-unit monolithic zirconia system. Now, what is the 5th generation right now? The 5th generation is actually AI. So what does AI do is that, right? We all know that the AI, the traditional era that we have is all based on our impression technique, as well as the expansion and contraction shrinkage. Now with the AI is able to eliminate all this human error and the manufacturing process error of the traditional workflow. So what AI will also be able to do is that it's able to analyze the stitching effect of the handheld intraoral scanner and to minimize it to the bare minimum to less than 5 micron. And also AI is going to integrate this milling process into now is the 6-axis, and the current development is the 7 to 8-axis of the milling machine. So AI is going to actually integrate this workflow into a even smoother with lesser margin of error. So we are now into the era of the AI technology, which help us to actually develop a 99% of a fitting issue. So this is actually, we have to thank the AI for helping us to eliminate the traditional workflow, which is deviation of the scanning as well as the impression taking. And we know that with a handheld scanner, we have CEREC, we have CS3005, E4D, fast scan, iTero trials, true definition, and the ZFX intra scanner. So all these things, right, they have an error is because it's through the stitching technology. And the stitching technology, the software precision of stitching is very important. So AI actually narrowed down all these things. Of course, we then have the next error is the milling machine. The milling machine, now we already are in the 6-axis of milling machine compared to 3-axis in the beginning. Yet we can still better now to 7-axis. All right. And so now the next thing how AI do is that we know that intraoral scanner, we have the error. We know that software, we have the error. We also know that we have the X-ray integration, we also have the error. But what if we can get the AI to merge these three together, right? And then that will actually reduce our margin of error to about 99% right now. Okay, I like to use the word 99.9, but we are nearing there. Okay, so for simple cases that which usually occupy 80% of our normal clinical workload, it will be actually a straightforward procedure. And you can actually